It's 5 days later since the epoxy repair on the crankcase on the other side, and the time has come to attempt to start the vehicle. Before I do that, I'll quickly point out a couple of other things I've had to bear in mind starting the vehicle. The bike, it was crash damaged, so if you go to the front, the radiator has been squashed back and has no water in it. Also, although it's not really important for this build, the forks were smashed back as well. Last night I filled it with oil. It took 3.5 litres, which is about the full refill capacity of the bike, which again suggests it had absolutely no oil in it at the time of, or just after the crash. I primed the bike after filling it with oil by turning it over on the starter a few times without starting the engine, just blipping it several times. The engine didn't start because I had the choke off, and it doesn't have very much fuel in it anyway, although it did cough once or twice, which suggested it actually wants to start, which is a good sign. The repair itself doesn't appear to have weeped over the since the fill last night. This piece of paper is reasonably clean, although I can see an oil spot further up in the paper, which is probably just oil coming from somewhere else that got onto the outside of the crankcase. Let's put some petrol in it and see what happens. Might as well give it a good drink. There's no petrol piddling out of it. I don't expect bad things to happen, but then that's exactly when bad things do happen. So I've got the fire extinguisher and kitty litter for an oil leak on standby. Okay, here goes nothing. Choke on, power on, there's still some life in the battery. There's about a 10% chance it'll start and won't leak. A pretty good chance that it'll start and leak, and also a pretty reasonable chance it'll start and all of the damage that was done to the engine in the crash will make itself apparent. So here goes nothing. Well, that was promising. I'll shut it off and let the heat soak into it and come back and look at it in 1 or 2 hours time. I think we're in the 10% miracle region. Sound wise and rev wise, it's quite an intimidating engine. And I look forward now to pulling it out and getting it into a car